Hey guys, I'm popping on really quick to walk you through my pricing worksheet for finished jewelry. And I wanted to do this because yesterday and then routinely throughout like the past couple of years, we get asked a lot, what should I price this piece for? And it came up again yesterday in class and I feel like I kind of fumbled through the answer. And the reason it's so hard to answer is because, you know, your costs are very unique to you, and the way you want to price your jewelry depends on a lot of things, like everything from how much do you want to earn, what's your time worth to you, how much do you spending on it, are you including all of your costs into your numbers. So it's something I've struggled with in the past. And as I was saying yesterday, if anyone was in our class yesterday, we taught a really cool bracelet design which used a lot of crystal, and someone asked, well, hey, what would you charge for that? And I was like, well, I wasn't sure, because one of the things that happens when I build my cost worksheet, I'm including a lot of things that, I make a lot of jewelry. So I have different numbers for how much materials I'm going to use over long periods of time. And so it's not as simple as, oh, here, I'm just going to share my formula or share my cost worksheet. But I thought, well, hey, why don't I share it and then explain it? Because it's unique to everybody, right? And then I also need to add a real quick disclaimer, which is I'm not a CPA. And this is all just me, my experience with selling my own work, and the results that I've seen, and the way that I kind of estimate. And it is not perfect. It's not perfect. It doesn't 100% get me where I want to be at the end of the sale, but it's worked out, most of the time. So here it is, and the description, and I think we're going to put this in the Facebook group. This is my worksheet, and it's a little messy. I mean, it's just like, it's something I was just using for me, but I tried to clean it up at least a little bit for the video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just share my screen really quick. And we'll do this window here and share. Okay. So right now it's not totally filled out, but what I do is I haven't really done much in-person sales lately. But for example, if I had an in-person sale, this is what I would do over here. I would, say, hey, where am I selling? And so these are my locations where the last time I did in-person selling, where that was taking place. So it's going to put my 10%. It's not going to come up yet because I don't have the rest of this filled out, but it should automatically populate as I go. I'm telling myself here to skip this because I'm not shipping. This is just me putting in some numbers here. A seed beaded bracelet with 3 colors. I used half a tube. My tubes were $6, $6, and $4. I put a clasp on it, and I put a charm on it. And so these were my basic direct costs, right? What this is right here, this is a material adder. Now, if you are, buying in bulk and you're selling, you can probably even move this down. I've given you the option to make it just a 1. But I always throw this on here for a lot of reasons. There's loss when you're producing things. There's miscalculations, and then of course, if you're selling like me, occasionally you have returns, and so this fixes that. This adds all that together. It also fixes some of the other costs that you have later. So there's a lot of detail that I struggle to explain with that number, but I learned this from other people, that if your material cost is this amount, at least be putting that. A lot of bigger stores, they're putting larger numbers on there. But I mean, at a minimum, you want to make your cost back. But by and large, what you will find is to make your cost back, you need to do something like this, or even something like this. So think about it. Think about that, and then play with it and see how your numbers shake out at the end of the year. How you'll know if you messed up is you'll have spent more and earned less than you thought you did. And I've been there, and that's why I do that. Okay, so hopefully that explains why that's there. These are my direct material costs. I just literally just put those straight in for my receipts. Design type. Okay, so this is where it gets to very personal to me. I have over many years kept track of, depending on the type of design, right? Depending on that, I end up with a lot of different things. So here's my stitch design cost. Here's if I'm doing a wire design. What this is the cost of the wire. Here's the cost of the thread. Here's cost of leather and other materials like glues. This is taking into account that I had to buy a bunch of plastic baggies and sit there and kit them. And so things like that are in here. And so that's what's going on here. So let's say I did a stitch design, since this looks like what I was doing there. And then come down to here and look at labor. How many hours did I spend? And I spent about 4 hours on that design, so I'm going to leave that there. Additional desired profit. So this is if you want to make more than the standard adder is going to give you based on some of the factors built in here. Coupons. I offer coupons in my shop. If I'm going to offer coupons and make this eligible for coupons, I need to include that. Marketplace fees. So I went up here and said that I'm doing an in-person sale, so I should not have that total coming over here. So this should come right out, and it should be saying 0. Now, if I had selected, we'll do an online one next, but if I'd selected online, it should give me a number there. Overhead and software. So this is like, when I design my pieces, I often use a lot of software to do so. Then I pay for certain things like, Canva, Adobe. And then there's maybe you paid for some Facebook advertising. Maybe you paid for, this is kind of where I capture all of that. And this number 1.4% is an adder that came from what I spend per month on my software cost, basically. Things that I have to pay for routinely, or I pay like by the year, or so StreamYard, things like that. Sales tax. So this is an in-person sale. So here's my sales tax at the city rate. Okay, so here's my suggested retail price for this item. So where did all these numbers come from? They're personal to you, and you can build your own data tables. I can explain what mine are doing. So I actually looked up my rates. For me, I'm in Washington. Excuse me. So I went to the Department of Revenue, and I looked up for the cities I sell in. If I'm going to sell in person, these are the places I'll probably be. And these were the rates that are current for them. You do need to update that every once in a while manually here. Over here are my costs for shipping. And this is changing all the time, so you got to watch this one. But right now, ground advantage for like something, let's say 11 by 7 by 1 padded mailer, it's going to run you about $4.50. And that's with the discounted rates through my marketplace facilitator. These are some of the others you'd see. A large one. So a large one is like anything that's going to be over 12 inches in either height or width, and can still be a padded mailer, can still go ground advantage if it's over a pound. For example, if I'm shipping like little spools of wires, this is going to need to be higher. So that's what this is. And I've given myself a spot over here to enter that. Okay, design type. What's going on here? I've said what kind of labor rate I'm paying myself, right? And you can change this number. Potentially should be higher for me, but I enjoy what I'm doing, so I feel like this is a good number. I've had this number higher in the past, and it really marks up my stuff. So I don't know, play with that. This number here, like I was saying before, is numbers that have to do with the cost of things that are really hard to calculate per piece. So for example, I over the years know what I spend per month on thread. I know what I spend per month on wire, on leather, and these numbers here represent how many pieces per month I might sell that use those materials, and then just divides it out. So I kind of estimated this to cover my monthly cost of those kinds of materials. So that is design type dependent, and that's what you're seeing here. And that's something you got to develop on your own. You can borrow mine, but it's different for everybody, right? Okay, markup. Again, I explained this one. This is when you go and you buy something at the store, your direct material cost can come in at 100%, but it's better to do something like this because you've got other costs on there that you're just not going to capture any other way. It's really hard to do so. So I just kind of took this as advice from someone else, to be totally honest with you. And it's worked out for me, but that's to explain it. Here again, coupons. Coupons are, if I offer that in my store, a lot of my legacy customers have a really big coupon out there floating around. I can no longer really support it, but it's still out there. So I have to either exclude it from my listing, or I have to include it here. So that's what that is. And let's see. Okay, well, this is something here that's just an extra that I threw in. And it's for me to know what I'm going to pay. So you need to know this number for yourself. It's going to be different for everybody. This number will probably be about the same. If you're in the United States, this is probably what you're going to pay, and you're self-employed. And then this is the Washington State business and occupation tax right here that I include. So you just have to figure out what this is for you. There are tables online where you can look it up, but say, for example, it's 25%. And so that should calculate out for you what your net and what your tax liability, that sort of thing. So hopefully that's working. And then over here, we've got the, let's see, what is all that? 1.4% is my, again, that's my software adder for things I pay for monthly. And these are my Etsy fees, currently what they charge. And that is per listing. So total order amount of your designated listing currency. So that you need to watch that. Okay, let's come back over here and do one more. So let's say you're not selling in person and you're selling online, and then it should, you need to switch this to marketplace. So the reason I have this in here is, for example, currently like all of my online sales are going to go through here, but occasionally I do an in-person sale, but they check out through Etsy. So you want to have this here just in case. The only problem is it's not calculating the tax. So this is a flaw in my worksheet I wanted to highlight for you guys. But by and large, online marketplace, there we go. Now it's telling me that I need to tell it large, small, and then this is packaging here. This is another thing that I came up with over a period of time, kind of what I'm spending per mailer with some tissue paper and a sticker, roughly. And then the cost of my thermal label sheets that I buy in bulk. So that cost, I've gotten that down substantially. I used to overspend in this area. Watch that one for yourself. Add it up in a month and then divide it over the number that you ship in a month and get yourself a number to kind of figure out what that is. And then what's this here? Yeah, so this should all stay the same. Should all stay the same. But what I should see here is my sales tax go away because Etsy collects and remits your sales tax for your state and other states. And then overhead and software should stay the same. Marketplace fees comes in right there. And look what selling online does to your price. So just keep that in mind. You saw what it was before. So yeah, that in a nutshell is the way I do my pricing. It is not perfect. It is just one lady's way of doing it. So I'm going to share this with you guys just in case it helps you. And I mean, at a minimum, maybe it could be like a memory jogger to help you kind of decide how you want to do your business. All right, so let's see. Let's go back to me. All right, so again, I'm going to drop this in the description and links to that sheet. And I hope it helps you. And I will see you next time. Happy beading, guys. Bye.